Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Ninja Warrior podcast. Tonight, we are going to be covering not only the second episode of the AW14 semifinals, but the third episode of AW14 semifinals. So we're all caught up and ready for the fourth episode later this week.
Yep, that is exactly what we're doing tonight. We're sorry for the long wait for this episode. Being completely honest, scheduling wasn't helping things.
Yeah, I also had a couple injuries while during the downtime from Ninja and stuff, like actually training. So I had to take time to deal with that shit, and it's not even healed right now. But we at least had the time to do a podcast tonight, so that's exactly what we're doing tonight. Yep. So we're covering the second semifinals, and I'll be honest here. I highly doubt this is going to be a night that's going to top this one in terms of shocking fails.
Yeah, this is definitely the big one. I took the calling this episode the deadly one because goddamn, like, we had one finisher and everyone else, like even veterans, just like fell.
Yeah, tonight was just like very, again, deadly is probably the way I'd put it too, honestly. Just so many big names in the water, some of them not even moving on to Vegas, which gets pretty unfortunate as we go down the list. But, of course, we're going to be going through one by one as we usually do. So, we're going to be starting off with the obstacles themselves for night 2. So on night 2, we have the Shrieking Steps, Lunatic Ledges, and then the surprising return of Clockwork.
Yeah, I don't think I was ever going to see this again, but surprisingly enough, it did take out quite a big amount of people.
Yeah, it took out a couple of women, especially on night 3, and just generally I was surprised about how difficult it was for the women.
Yeah, but just like people in general, you wouldn't expect it.
Then we had the Spinning Bridge, and after that we had a new one, Hopscotch. Hate that name, the obstacle's a pretty big ninja killer.
Yeah, that thing is like, you need to be a rock climber in order to be able to do well on that.
Yeah, and even then, I'm not even sure that, many could do that. It did take out plenty of people, and it was the threshold for, moving on. So it kind of depended on your position, but it was definitely a difficult obstacle, and it took out a lot of people, yeah, just generally a very surprising, I think, debut for this obstacle.
Yeah, I mean, we knew it would be a ninja kill, but goddamn, it got a lot of people.
Yep, then we have the usual Warp Wall and Salmon Ladder combo, and then we have the Box Office, which is I hate that name, like, without a doubt, I hate the name, and I'm okay with the obstacle. It's actually just these 3 boxes that you have to grab in certain ways. It's alright, but I'm just saying, I think they definitely could have done, I definitely don't really like the idea of, box. I definitely am okay with it, but I don't really have much of an opinion on it either.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest problem with it to me is, like, the fact that they kept on making box office puns because they were in LA. Like, they really kept on hammering down the idea that this obstacle's called box office and we're in LA, Hollywood.
Yeah, I can see your point there. After the box office, we had Split Decision, which this time was Dragon Back and the returning Spin Zone. And, yeah, I guess this is an alright combo. I'd say, yeah, because, like, you could tell, it was actually a tough decision, because, like, Spin Zone was the new obstacle, like, you hadn't seen it before the season, and it was just a really difficult one. And then we had, Dragon Back, which was seen in Season 12, but it was, still a really difficult obstacle, but it depended on your position. I personally would have probably gone with Spin Zone, because, like, Dragon Back, I might be strong in upper body, but Dragon Back is just, like, you can easily just, like, slide it off the track, and I feel like that happens more often than not.
Anyway, then we have the usual Spider Jump, which I really want them to get rid of, but of course they're not gonna.
Yeah, but, anyway, moving on, we have the winners of tonight, starting off with Jonah Bona, who is this, like, I'm gonna say canoe rider, like, he like he woes canoes. Like I don't really know what they actually are specifically, but he just rides canoes across. And honestly, has the most probably the most boring job you could possibly have.
Yes. I don't think I could really find myself doing that, but for some reason he finds it entertaining, and for some reason he sings while he's on it, and it gets annoying. But hey, he does BMX, which honestly that's way cooler. Dangerous, but way cooler.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that type of stuff, like doing like reckless skateboarding, roller skating, BMX, like that stuff is the stuff that would freak me out trying to do.
I feel like we'd have to force all three of you guys to try. I feel like I'd have to force the both of you to even try some of that stuff.
Yes, you would.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on. Jordan Bono, he did quite well making it all the way to the box office, and yeah, there was like only two notable aside from that.
Yeah, no, he was able to move on to Vegas, so good for him on that one. After that, we had a show one on Mike Beadle, who finally got spotlight after getting shafted to the side last season. But he ended up going out on Clockwork. And then we had Casey Rothschild in a fast forward segment, where she ended up going out on the Spinning Bridge. Because of the top 5 being so lenient tonight, she was able to move on, I believe, the 3rd spot.
Yep, then we had Isabella Adkins, who made it farther than any other woman in this week's semifinal, in the night too.
Yeah, Isabella had a story about her father who got paralyzed, I believe, the legs down?
I don't know if they said specifically, but he was at least wheelchaired, and he talked about the story about how he got caught in a car accident, and that's how that happened, and just how that, quote-unquote, inspires his daughter. But she did actually really well.
Yeah, like we said, she made it farther than any other woman, and that's because she was the only one to get past hopscotch. However, she wasn't able to make up the warp wall. She came really fucking close, but she just wasn't able to.
Yeah, she got her hand on top, it just wasn't strong enough. Again, really close to getting up top.
Anyway, after Isabella, we had
Brittany Durant, any fast forward segment.
Yep, she had a very short one, as she ended up going out on a lunatic ledges. And then we had Steven Sen, who was literally just a show-off at the start line.
Yeah, he took off his show with me with that six-pack, and honestly, he just looks like Sam San. Anyone get that vibe?
Oh, yeah, aside from the six-pack, yes, he definitely does look like Sam San. He ended up going out on hopscotch, strangely enough, despite those muscles. After that, we had the next shown one, that being the rock climber Josh Levin.
Yep, after 3 years, I believe, of not competing, didn't go into Harvard, Josh Levin is back, and he did pretty alright.
Yep, Josh did a story about him working at this honestly really cool school. They have a program where they have kids design new Ninja Warrior obstacles just from scratch, and honestly, why can't I go to this school?
Probably because it's too expensive.
Okay, true, it probably is a magnet school, but even so, like, I honestly don't understand why most schools don't have some kind of, like, engineering mechanical thing. Like my school had a woodworking thing. I was in it. I didn't but that was nothing compared to what was shown here.
Yeah, and they were doing stuff like doing obstacles for like disabled kids and stuff like that was really cool. And definitely Josh Levin deserved the spotlight to show it off.
Yeah, Josh himself did really well, one of the best ones of the night. He made all the way to Dragonback, where he ended up falling, and that was a huge disappointment.
Yeah, at the same time, I feel like it was kind of had it coming because, like, how early it was in the episode, but still, we were seeing one thing that was never mentioned by the show is that the Dragonback actually injured him as well.
Yeah, you can see him have blood down his nose, and he posted this on Instagram. He needed to get stitches in order to fix that. And he's still going to Vegas, thankfully, but goddamn, the fact that the show didn't even bring up any kind of mention to that. Yeah, I'm just wondering how the fuck I myself didn't miss it. Because, like, you could see the blood in his nose while they were showing him, but they never would specifically brought it up. They just cut away to the next commercial break.
Yeah, completely ignoring him. But it was really good to see Josh coming back, so. After him, we had a fast forward segment featuring Julius Ferguson, so they actually showed him this time. And this was pretty sad, the way he went out.
Yeah, similar to Dave Campbell back in season 12. He got stuck on a losing ledge for like 2 minutes before going out. That was kind of unfortunate. Then we had Anthony Porter, who, I believe went out on Box Office. Finally we had, okay, no offense to this next ninja, but I am going to be criticizing him. Jeremiah Boyd, probably one of my least favorite ninjas from this season.
Yeah, no offense to him, but he is a social media star, and they really hammer it. Like, they hammer it down your throat nonstop.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying if I think all three of us are being honest here. They wouldn't shut up about him and how he's a cool kid and stuff. Akbar, for some reason, did a sheesh, which I'm not even going to go on about because I don't even know what it is if I'm being honest.
No, none of us do. It's just, I don't understand my generation. We don't understand our generation. It's good.
Yeah, but he also did some kind of like peace sign thing coming off the hot sauce. Like, he was really just showing off.
Yeah, and there was also some pointless segment about his mother, and fine everything, but it really felt like shoehorned in because they always talked about his social media career.
Yeah, what's something else we can talk about this guy? Yeah, that's essentially what that was. And Jeremiah, he did pretty well on the chorus, game all the way to box office and almost completing it. But I'm just saying, like, the way they show him and the way they give him spotlight, that is the annoying part for me.
Yeah, no offense to Jeremiah, once again. And nothing against him as a person. It's more just the way the show shows him. I think that's more of it. I think that's the reason why we may not like it all that much. I think it's just the way the show spotlights him.
Yeah, the way the show makes a big deal out of what he does, even though it really doesn't matter. But anyway, after Jeremiah Boyd, I almost said Jeremiah Morgan.
Oh, if only he still could be it. Alright, but anyway, after Jeremiah Boyd, we had
Lila Nathanson in a fast forward segment. She ended up going out on Clockwork. And after that, we had Ronald Washington who went up on Hopscotch. And then we had the next shown one, that being Evan Andrews.
Yep, Evan Andrews one. That was a weird one, because, like, he's a rookie. But yet he was the only person to finish the course.
Yeah, Evan, he had a story about him building a gym, or it's a small ninja course at least, in his garage. And his Ninja Center being the only ninja center in the entirety of Montana, which shocked the fuck out of me. But, yeah, he had a whole story about that, and it was honestly really cool, honestly. But Evan, he did really fucking well. He made it all the way to the end of the course. He really knew how to control that ball. He really knew what he was doing, and he made it all the way to the end of the course, and was the only one to hit a buzzer.
Yeah, definitely speaking, a really good one by him. Like, just like nothing else to say, just really good.
Yep, then we had Alex Nye in a fast forward segment where he went out on the spinning bridge. Then we had Caden Maslin, who actually got Showtime. He went out on box office. Then we had probably one of the most shocking fails tonight, but probably not definitely not the most shocking because there's a lot of competition for that spot. But one of the most shocking, we have Josh Sanders, who ended his season on the hopscotch.
Yeah, that was surprising. Like, I honestly thought he would be like the next Vance Walker. As, like, he's still coming out of AEW Jr. And honestly, like, he's in that position where he would do really well. But unfortunately, it just didn't come to be.
Yeah, he went on hopscotch, and yeah, honestly, one of the most shocking things that happened tonight. Next battle was 14-time veteran David Campbell, who had another danger zone on Lunatic Legends, where he spent about a minute on there trying to get off. He still moved on and did like literally the exact same thing he did 2 years ago.
Yeah, that at least it was cool to see him do it again, but that obstacle must be like his nemesis nowadays.
I mean, yeah, the fact that he has to literally think outside the box twice in order to get through it, it really makes me think, will he ever do it normally?
He's gotta build that thing on his course or something. Like, he's gotta try it.
Yeah, but anyway, he made all the way to box office and was able to move on, so good for him. And finally, we had Lance Pekus, who had this really shoehorn story with this girl who had leukemia, who he donated his blood to. And, it's fine, everything, but it really just feels shoved in.
Yeah, Lance's one was another shocker as he ended up going out on hopscotch. And, man, hopscotch is a fucking ninja killer.
Yeah, we're not even done with it yet, so we still have plenty more to go on that obstacle in particular. But, I think we're ready to move on. After Lance Pekus, we had
Tyler Kurtz in a fast forward segment.
Yep, he ended up going out on Clockwork. Then we had the Leech John Mack, I think probably the tallest competitor of the night. He ended up going out on Hopscotch, which is pretty ironic because of the way they phrased it, because it was like he was too big for the obstacle's tiny grips.
Yeah, that's a little weird. But, anyway, after that we had veteran Maddie Howard, and yes, this was really cool to see. Finally seeing you go back.
Yeah, Maddie had a story about her and her son, as she's a mother now, which is why she missed out last season. However, Maddie ended up falling on Spinning Witch, because of the very lenient top 5, the very lenient women's top 3, she was able to move on, I believe. So, yeah, that was that. After that, we had probably the most pointless show one of the night. Like, I don't really think they needed to show him. They probably could have cut him.
Yeah, we have Asaf Gorin, who was a star in Ninja Warrior Israel. But he fell on the third obstacle, Clockwork, and there's nothing else to know about his one.
Yeah, like, he fell down, I'm just like, and we showed him why?
Yes, there were probably better people you could have shown instead of him, but nope.
Yeah, no. Anyway, after that, we had a fast forward segment of Vodeo Benson, who ended up going out on Clockwork, almost saving it, in fact. Then we had Grant and Gwen, who ended up going out on Hopscotch. And then we had Kyle Mickway, who also went out on Hopscotch. And finally, we had Josiah Singleton, and who honestly was one of the biggest surprises of the night.
Yeah, Singleton. He had a story about him being a country boy, and is that Lance Pekus' job?
Nope, I am not. He is not a whip off of Lance Pekus. Yeah, no, he isn't.
Not even trying to hide it. No, he is. And it's kind of funny because like Lance was also shown tonight. So, really?
They kind of just like swapped his story for Lance's story for his.
Yeah, that kind of is how that works. Yeah. Anyway, Josiah Singleton, he did really fucking well. Like, he made all the dragon back, failed there, but he was fast enough to still make the power tower.
Yeah, and this is, I believe, the first instance where someone who did not complete the course moved on to the power tower. I am ignoring Emil Malik here because that doesn't technically count. It's not a real season 12. It's kind of like the anomaly here, but I'm not really counting it, so, and for my intents and purposes, this is the first time that type of thing has even happened. And, yeah, honestly, I'm just shocked that Josiah made it that far, and he was able to make it to the power tower.
Yeah, so that we saw, 25 minutes off in the episode when this, one came, and, yeah, you'd expect, some of the people who were wanting, you'd expect them to beat him, always complete the course. But nope, that never happened.
Yeah, no. But anyway, after Josiah, we had
Brent Hernandez Strong in a fast forward segment.
Yep, he had a pretty surprising exit, that being on Hopscotch. Then we had Francisco Bajaz, who also went out on Hopscotch. So we had probably, again, another one of the most shocking fails of the season and of the night, Tiana Webberly, who was probably poised to become the next woman to complete Stage 1 in Vegas. However, in addition to almost failing the striding steps, she ended up falling on Clockwork for a second time.
Yeah, that was definitely very disappointing. I'm probably just I don't remember a night being like this, and honestly, I feel like there are other nights where it has been more shocking fails, but honestly, but honestly, the fact that there's so many big veterans here, but so many going out so early, that is just surprising.
Yeah, Yeah, after that we had Kyle Soderman, who was supposed to save our asses of having only one finisher, that being a rookie. However, he failed on box office.
Yep, then we had Andrade in the fast forward segment, he met the same fate. Then we had probably the most shocking fail of the night, Adam Whale, who fell in hopscotch.
Yeah, for the first time in his career, Adam Whale is not going to Vegas. That is just a shocker. Yeah, honestly, like, Adam was, like, probably the person I would pick, probably one of the people I'd pick to win, but then, nope. Then we had Sean Bryan, who went out on box office, probably the one I thought would go into the Power Talk, because he's been there before. He came really close, but he wasn't able to do it.
Yeah, no, and then we had Elijah Browning as the final runner of the night. And guess what he went out? If you guess was hopscotch because you've probably already seen the episode, then you'd be right.
Yes, that was definitely a big shocker, because mostly because the way they paced it, you would expect a finisher to be the last one of the night, but that did not happen. He ended up failing, and yeah, honestly, that was a big surprise. And that led to the Power Tour being a very weird matchup, that being Evan Andrews versus Josiah Singleton. Once again, Josiah didn't even finish the course. But, yeah, this was honestly a very underwhelming matchup, too.
Yeah, Josiah ended up, this ended up being a very one-sided matchup, but Josiah completely blazed past Evan after a rope miss. And, he basically just stayed ahead the entire race and won.
Yep, so Josiah, surprisingly enough, got the safety pass. So if I'm being honest, I wouldn't be surprised if he fails stage 1 twice.
Yeah, you have no faith.
Honestly, I feel like that would make sense.
I see your point there. But anyway, yeah, that's night 2. Man, night 2 was something.
Yeah, night 2 is in a situation where, only one finisher, so, it depends on how they pace the night. But honestly, aside from maybe Lance's story, I honestly like the way they paced tonight. Yeah, they honestly did an alright job of pacing it the way they put the ones, and you'd expect most of these competitors to complete the course, but none of them did. Like, the fact they put Josh Lemon so early, they could have easily have put him later, and I would have been maybe a little more happy, but you get what I mean. Like, they did what they did to make it show that all these ones were pretty surprising, and yes, the pacing is probably the reason why some of these ones were so surprising.
Yeah, because Sean Bryan and Kyle Soderman, those two were poised to be the next people to complete the box office and move on. Were probably poised to be the next people to complete the course, but they never did. So it was honestly quite surprising to see both of them fail, along with everyone else.
Yep, until the cut ones on night 2, we only had one, that being David Funk, surprisingly enough. So that was really good on their part. They did a really good job. Of making sure that everyone was shown. He was the only cut one, and yeah, honestly, really good job, guys. That you only cut one person.
Yeah, he's definitely a competitor that I don't even know who he is, and he doesn't even have a page on Ninja Wiki. So it's really good that he. It's really okay that he got cut. It's honestly fine.
Yep, now we move on to night 3 of the semifinals. And starting off with that night's course, we had
the usual striking sets, but then over-under.
Yep, over-under was a new obstacle, which was basically you had a ball that you had to either push over go over in a 180 loop, I don't know. But if you didn't have enough force, it pulled you back and you had to go under. It kind of went on the wheel flip in a way from season 10, where you just had to turn the ball over yourself. And that definitely took more time, and I guess this obstacle was fine, but I don't know, something about it. Maybe it's just because it feels like a time waster.
Yeah, I mean, it does make the course itself feel pretty slow, but it's fine. But then we have Clockwork returning from last night, along with Diamond Dash, Hopscotch, the Whoop Wall, the Samurai, Box Office, and then Split Decision. There was a new one, that being Flipped Around, which honestly a pretty good play on the hinge.
Yeah, Flipped Around is essentially where you essentially you have to like make a dungeon like board flip. Let's flip using momentum and the bars on the side, and this was definitely a really tough obstacle. Like, it took out some big names, and honestly, I can fully understand why.
Yeah, this thing is really big and difficult, and the other obstacle was the returning diving boards. Which didn't cause the stupid spider trap.
Yep. Going on to the ones from episode 8, we had Mike Salinski starting off, who was strangely enough our very first finisher.
Yeah, that was really weird. Like, they just went immediately into his one, and Mike Salinski became the first finisher.
Yeah, one thing I do want to bring up is that they falsely proclaimed Mike Salinski as his one being the first one of the semifinals course to complete the course, when literally last season Sean Bryan did that too, in literally the exact same episode.
Yeah, that was pretty stupid. I don't even know how you can get something like that wrong. Like, I can understand getting something from like 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago wrong. Like, that's understandable. For something from last season, everyone's gonna remember that and point you out.
Yeah, definitely. It was just a little bit of a misstep by them, but Salinski still did really well. And once again, he was the first finisher of the night. After that, we had Davin Alexander, a fast forward segment, who ended up going out on Diamond Dash, sadly enough. Then we had Brandon Varner, who ended up going out on Hopscotch. And we had Megan Woe, the Axling Ninja, who ended up going out on Hopscotch as well.
Then we had Lindsay Etzkelton, another fast forward segment where she went out on Clockwork. Then we had probably one of the biggest disappointments of the night, Enzo D4 Ellie Wilson.
Yep, Enzo was definitely a competitor I was expecting to complete the course, but he shockingly went out on box office, and he just barely moved on, and I believe the 15th or 14th spot on the leaderboard.
It was so pretty surprising not to see him complete the course. So let's get to the ninth obstacle, because I was definitely expecting him to go on box office, even if he was fast forwarded. But yeah, Enzo, even you could tell. I'm pretty sure even the audience could tell that he was pretty disappointed.
Yeah, for sure. Enzo hasn't even hit a buzzer this year, so he's definitely poised to get one soon, hopefully. After that, we had Drew Nestor, who was an Army veteran. He ended up being and he ended up going out on the diving boards.
After that, we had a very long segment about Nathan Green and his twin brother Marquez, and how they have this sibling twin-like bond, and it just goes on for way too fucking long.
Yeah. Nathan ended up going surprisingly far, going out on box office, but once again, his segment, it just went on way too long.
Yeah. But anyway, after Nathan, we had Kyle Schulze in a fast forward segment.
Yep, Kyle, he did pretty alright actually. He made it all the way to box office where he ended up going out, and honestly, I want to point out that they say this is his best performance in years, but yet this is exactly where he went out last season.
Yeah, but technically that, him going on the Crazy Clocks did not get him to Vegas last season, but yet here it is, so, I mean, technically speaking,
I don't think he's been to Vegas since season 10, so that might be why they're saying that too, but even so, like, technically, you're right. Yeah, so I thought, but, after Kyle, we had Joe Brown, the Jumping Ninja, who, surprisingly enough, went on over-under.
Yeah, honestly, he's not like one of those top guys, but honestly, I thought he'd go always a little bit farther.
After that, we had the next shown one, that being Derek Pavani, who ended up going out on Flipped Around. After that, we had Wu Yoi, who had a segment on adopting dogs, and it's Wu Yoi, so it makes a lot of sense. He ended up going on a Clockwork, so kind of a little bit of a disappointment there. After that, we had Max Feinberg in a fast forward segment. This was definitely no surprise.
Yeah, because Max, he's not one of those big names you'd expect to complete the course. But no, Max ended up failing on box office and just barely scraped into the top 15.
Yep, once again, him and Enzo, they were right on the cutting barrier in terms of who made the Vegas and who didn't. So, yeah, it's really good that they're moving on still, but damn, they are poised to get some buzzers.
Yeah, Max did get one of the qualifiers, but even so, their performance tonight was pretty disappointing, because at least they're still moving on.
Yeah, after that we had, It's Caden Lapsack, because of Last Man Standing from last season, and yeah, he had a segment of talking about him and Max Feinberg's Universal Studios trip, which felt a big joy because that's one of those sponsors, effectively.
Yeah, if it wasn't out, I didn't be promoting it. But anyway, Caden did it really well, making it all the way to the buzzer and making the night's second finisher.
Yep, nothing really too special about that aside from that, but really good one from Caden. After that, we had Jason Kotzen in the fast forward segment, who ended up going out on Flipped Around. And after that, we had veteran Ethan Swanson.
Yep, Ethan was able to redeem himself from last season, not being able to make it to Vegas that time. But this time he was able to get past the 8th obstacle, that being box office. Unfortunately, he was taken out by the diving boards.
Yeah, but Swanson's definitely one of those competitors who I would expect on the Power Tower, so it was definitely a little bit surprising.
Yeah, but after that we had the next show one, that being Jackson Twait. And yeah, it's Jackson Twait, so I didn't really enjoy the one and how they hyped it up and stuff, and all the fucking cat puns just kill me!
Yeah, fully agree with you on that one. But Jackson did get the second fastest time of the night. Did get the second fastest time of the night and was able to move on to the Power Tower, so we saw him at the end of the night. But more importantly, after Jackson Twait, we had
Stephen Botcha in a fast forward segment.
Yep, he ended up going out on over under, so probably the shortest one of the night. After that, we had Maggie Owen, who went out on Clockwork. And then we have Karen Potts, who had a surprisingly long story about how she plays softball.
Yeah, it's feels pointless, but she actually did the best out of any other woman tonight.
Yeah, she made it all the way to box office, where she unfortunately fell, but she was the top woman, and she ended up moving on, obviously. And I believe she was a part of the top 15 as well, so really get on her.
No, I don't think she's part of the top 15, but still, really good one.
Definitely, yes. After her, we had another fast forward segment with Cam Bogardner, who had a really good one going becoming the night's next finisher. After him, we had Ethan Gordgulski, who ended up going out on the Flipped Around. After that, we had Gary Hines, who went up on box office. And then we had the Captain NBC himself, Jamie Wan. Yep, Jamie had finally some spotlight and a story, and honestly, probably one of the most emotional segments that we've had in a while, where he talked about his struggles to have a kid and how long they've been struggling to do so. And yeah, honestly, that was a pretty heartwarming. And yeah, honestly, it was a pretty heartwarming story, and I honestly really enjoyed it. As I honestly, surprisingly, I did not think it went on for a little long, but I can definitely see someone thinking it did.
Yeah, I think it was like a minute and a half or so, a little long for my taste, but Jamie Wan definitely deserves it. And Jamie Wan had a pretty good one, making it all the way to the 9th obstacle, flipped around before literally getting flipped off the obstacle.
Yeah, that was also a pretty big shocker, but he was still able to move on, so good for him. Yeah, after that we had another fast forward segment featuring
veteran Maggie Thorne, who unfortunately ended up going on over under.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the bigger shockers of the night. After that we had Josh Wag, who ended up going out on the box office. And then we had RJ Woolman, who ended up getting the third fastest time of the night. And yeah, completing the course. After him, we had probably the biggest shocker of the night, and probably made me really feel like we were back to night 2.
Yeah, because we had Jessie Fuxabeck, who went out on the third obstacle clock. We're very disappointed.
Yeah, she definitely should have went an extra swing on that. But yeah, definitely very surprising. I was that Beck was poised to complete the course, especially since they didn't do anything like put her early or something. But technically speaking, they did put that that stats screen that is always poised to make someone fail, because I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure every single time they put that there, except for once, it actually meant someone failed.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm just tired of them putting that. It's kind of annoying, and it's kind of a dead giveaway at this point.
Yeah, it definitely is. But anyway, yes, she went out on Clockwork. Then we had her fiance, Krista Ganji, in a fast forward segment, who unfortunately went on hopscotch, so both of them were missing Vegas, which was once again another huge shocker. Then we had Chris Balins and Leave. So we had Chris Balins who went out on box office, and surprisingly enough, the final one of the night being Levi Enright.
Yeah, no, considering what happened, yes, I am not surprised, but also considering his status as a ninja, I am also very surprised because he is, I believe, a Wookiee, and he hasn't competed for all that long, and once again, he's kind of a nobody, so him being the last one of the night was surprising, but he ended up getting the fastest time of the night, which, once again, was pretty shocking.
Yep, but he wants to get the fast time of the night, and ends up getting to the Power Tower, and had a race with Jackson Twait.
Yeah, this, once again, just like the first episode, was a very neck-and-neck race, really close, but Levi Enright just barely edged out Jackson Twait, and that is basically night 3 of the semis.
Yep, to wrap up night 3, we have the cut ones, and we have the cut ones, those being Michael Barber, who was a part of the top 15, so there's your first red flag right there.
Yep, technically speaking, part of his run was shown during episode 7's prologue of the Hopscotch. His one was shown there, but it's still a little annoying that he got cut. The bigger note of it that got cut was Eric Middleton.
Yeah, I guess he didn't have anything to sum that up, but they really didn't fucking care.
Yeah, he ended up going on box office. Wouldn't be sad if he was in 16th place, but he did not end up moving on. Then we had Scott who went on Clockwork, and Elizabeth Leslie who also went on Clockwork. And yeah, that's night 2 and 3 of the semifinals.
Yeah, I gotta say, definitely, 2 really good nights. Night 2 had a lot of shocking fails, and night 3, a little bit disappointing, but still a lot of fun, and I really like the ninth obstacle flipped around.
Yeah, very dynamic, and honestly, we had some really good ones tonight, like people like Jamie Wan, and Jackson Twait, surprisingly enough, and Caitlin Lepsek, all big names moved on. And some shocking fails, too. Of course, we have Enzo and Max failing pretty early. We had LeBlanc and Krista Ganji, along with people like Kyle Schulze, and, again, Eric Middleton.
Yeah, so definitely this week was filled with shockers.
Yeah, but anyway, we will see you guys next time where we cover the 4th and final semifinals.
Yep, as of now, it hasn't aired yet, but probably by the time you guys see it, it has aired. But, yeah, I cannot wait to finally be done with it and move on to Vegas, because Vegas, that's always the main part of Ninja, and last year's Vegas was so good, so I really hope that was equal that this year.
Yeah, I would be pretty happy if they were able to, and pretty disappointed if they can't, but I think they should be able to. But anyway, we will see you guys next time for that. Peace.